Hey guys, thanks for joining us here at Salty Ginger Talk. If you are new to the channel, we're really glad you joined us. Hope you like what you hear. Returning listeners, it's great to have you back. We appreciate your loyalty. So our podcast is for people who want to learn something new or make themselves a little bit better every day. And in today's episode, we're going to give you the 5 most powerful, most impactful, best ways to live the life that you want to live, that makes you happy, that allows you to go after what you want, instead of living a life because other people expect certain things from you. So the question to ask yourself here is, are you living the life that you truly want? Or are you just meeting expectations that others have placed on you? And there's no shame in that. Like, that happens to tons and tons and tons of people. Now, I'm fortunate that from the time I was 3 years old, all I ever wanted to do was be a professional baseball player. And I knew that being in a good marriage was really important to me. And it's weird because I knew that when I was 7 or 8 years old. I never thought a lot about being a father. I never thought a lot about making a whole bunch of money. And it's funny because, professional baseball players, when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s, they made a lot of money then, but nothing near how much money they make now. But the money never entered into it for me. I just loved competing and I loved the sport of baseball, and that's what I wanted to do. And I wanted to have a really good marriage. So it's funny that I knew those things being so young. I can remember being 7 or 8 years old thinking about those things. But what we want you to do is to identify what those things are for you, and then take control of your life and go after those things so that you can pursue the things that are important to you. And, we shared, in one of our short videos the other day, we shared the 3 top deathbed regrets that people expressed at the end of their lives. And they were all about relationships and living the life they wanted to live instead of living the life others wanted them to live and pursuing careers or money or material things. So this falls in line with what we hear from people over and over and over again. And by the way, we got those top 3 deathbed regrets from a ton of research that was done interviewing hospice care providers. And those are people that are with people at the end of their lives, right before they leave the earth. And so that's as close and real and raw of data as you can get. So there's nothing to hold back on at that point because the end is near. And that's when people are honest and truthful and kind of confess the things they want to get off their chest before it's all over for them. So that's the whole point of today's episode. How do you live the life you want to live? And we're going to give you some tips on how to do that. We can't tell you what that is. It's not our place to tell you what you should be pursuing or not pursuing in life. You have to decide what's important to you. Our argument is, don't float on the river of life. Don't allow other people to push you down a certain path in your life. You should choose the life you want to live, and you should live it to its fullest. And that's what's going to make you the happiest, most productive, and most successful. And you get to define that. So that's what we're talking about today. So, number 1, get clear on what you want, not what others want for you. So, real talk, a lot of us wind up in professions or careers or on paths because we're kind of on autopilot and we allow others to influence us. Parents, close friends, peers, the culture. We wind up pursuing careers and relationships and lifestyles because other people encourage us to. And look, maybe they hit the nail on the head. There's nothing wrong with if someone else suggests it and you love it. That's awesome. Good for you. However, it's an age-old story of, for example, a lawyer who always felt unfulfilled or hates practicing law. And we happen to run in circles where we know a lot of attorneys or former attorneys. And we don't know a whole bunch of people that are enamored with that profession. It's a tough gig. It's unsatisfying. It's unfulfilling for a lot of people. And we're not saying everybody hates it. We're, totally get it. Some people love it. And it depends on what type of law you practice. It's very diverse. The experience of an M&A attorney, mergers and acquisitions attorney, is going to be very different from someone who practices civil rights or criminal defense or international law or patent law, right? Those are all lawyers, but very different experiences in the law. But let's say you hate it and you go out and open a bakery and you're happier, you're healthier, you might even earn more because you're getting after it and you love what you do and you're growing that bakery into something you never grew your law practice into because you weren't into the law practice in the same way. So, how do you determine this? How do you figure out what you want? Ask yourself this question. This is a good place to start. If no one judged me, if I didn't have to deal with any peer pressure, any societal pressure, any blowback, any negative feedback, and money was no issue, what would you do? What would you do with your life? If your answer to that is sitting on the couch, eating bonbons and watching The Price is Right, I probably can't help you. You probably need to check your head because you're not in it. You're not in the game. But all of us, this is, I get it. Everyone wants to be, I shouldn't say everyone, but, there's tons of people who want to be rappers or entertainers or influencers or whatever the case may be. Look, those are great. Those aren't real in a lot of instances, or the opportunity there is not real. I hate to break it to you, but if you're 5'8", you're not going to be an NBA star. If you can't hit a ball that goes 90 miles an hour, baseball is out for you. If you can't run faster than most people, football and or soccer are probably out for you. So, you can go after anything you want. We're not telling you what to do or what not to do. But what would you really do? And most of us have something, a couple of things that we feel really passionate about and we really love. If I was going to pick what I would do for a living, I probably would coach. Probably would coach sports. I love sports. I love competing. I'm good at conveying information. I understand strategy. I'm a good motivator. I'm good at reading people. And that's kind of what I do anyways, right? As a CEO of a company, I'm kind of a coach. And I do it in the grocery business. If I could do it anywhere, I'd probably do it in either baseball or hockey would be probably one of the two sports I would pick. But, I like what I do. I've got a good life. I've got the most important part, which is a great marriage. That's always been very important to me. And it's the center of my life, unapologetically. I know it's important to me. I've got a great wife. We've got a great relationship. And that's the most important thing to me. But you've got to go through that exercise for yourself. So ask yourself, nobody judges me. Money doesn't matter. What would you do? That's a good way to identify what you really care about or what would really light your fire if you went after it. Okay. So here's number 2. You got to learn to set boundaries without guilt. So people pleasing is a fast track to burnout, resentment, and failure. When you try to make everybody happy, you're going to fail. You can't make everybody happy. We learned that long ago. We've never suffered from laying awake at night worrying what people think about us. Now, I'm like anyone else. I like to be popular. I like it when people like me. I don't like it when I have to be the asshole in a situation. I'm good at it, and I've got a lot of practice at it, and it doesn't bother me when it happens, but I don't prefer to take that approach. But, I don't try to make everybody happy. I try to do what I think is right in the situation that's going to have the best impact for the most people. That's what I try to do. That's how I think about it. Now, let's say you're a corporate executive and you have to work all the time. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, you know what? This weekend, my kid's got something big and I'm not missing it. I'm not missing it. So you decline to work on the weekend. And sometimes, look, I've been in that situation. Sometimes there's things that are so important to the business, it's career suicide not to do it. And I understand that. But those incidents are few and far between. And we, as business leaders, tend to overemphasize the importance of everything. And a lot of times that can come at the expense of the personal relationships with the people closest to us. So if you cut back on that, if you say, hey, you know what? I know I usually go into the office on Saturdays, but I'm going to quit doing that. I'm going to make sure I'm at all my kids' games or all my kids' dance recitals or all of my kids' poetry readings or whatever it is that your kid is into. It's going to improve your family bonds, it's going to improve your leadership and your work. Believe it or not, sometimes doing less is more. I liken it to soccer. When I coach soccer, which was a sport I was very good at when I played it, a lot of times there's space behind you. And a lot of people don't think about that because they want to attack. But if we possess the ball, the other team can't score. And so I would always tell people, look for the space behind you. Find somebody else to pass the ball to, take the pressure off, and let's move the ball around and look for our opportunities. It's the same thing at work. A lot of times doing less is more. Maybe working for 8 to 10 hours and really grinding for those 8 to 10 hours is much more efficient than the 12, 14, 16-hour days. And I've worked my share of 14 and 16-hour days. You're not nearly as productive in hours 15, 16, 17. You are scraping by at that point, and it's not helpful. So how do you do that? It sounds good to say, okay, I'm just going to quit working weekends. You don't need to be belligerent. You don't need to be a jerk about it. You can simply say, that doesn't work for me, but I appreciate the invite. Practice it. Practice saying it out loud. Oh, not going to be able to make that work, but I hope you have a great time. Like, you don't have to be like, wish people well. If they want to do other things, let them do other things. That's great for them. You don't have to do it. You're not required to do those things simply because someone asks. So that doesn't work for me, but I hope you have a great time. That doesn't work for me, but I appreciate you thinking of me. Like that works a lot. You know, in my life, I've been propositioned by people, by women in certain situations. And I always say, you know, I'm super married. I'm flattered. You're very attractive, but I'm married, super married. Like, you don't get more married than me. I have zero interest on doing anything that would destroy my relationship or my trust with my wife. So, nope, I'm good. Thanks. Not that hard. You can just set the boundaries. I was that way with drugs. I've never been drunk, and I've never taken an illegal drug in my life. That doesn't make me some teetotaling, self-righteous, awesome person. Those are just choices I made. Those things never made sense to me. I saw people that were drunk. I saw people that took drugs. It did not look like it had a good impact on their life, and I was never interested in pursuing that. I never got any shit for it either, and I was offered lots and lots of drugs in lots and lots of different situations. I just say, no thanks, not my thing. It's not that hard. That's all you got to do. If you can figure out how to do that, you're going to be able to set boundaries without guilt, and it's going to set you up for a much happier, much more fulfilling, and much more successful life, because you're going to be doing the things you actually want to do. Okay, number 3, we talked about this a little bit earlier. You get to define what success is for you, all by yourself. You get to make that definition. Nobody gets to tell you what success is. So a lot of times we in society, or society in general, equate success with titles, with salaries, and status. But real success is very, very personal. So, you know, I'm a CEO. That's a big title. I make good money. I've got status. I do interviews with newspapers and blah, 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 blah. Doesn't mean shit. None of it means shit. What's most important to me is my relationship with my family, my marriage to my wife, and the personal relationships I have with those people that are close to me. That's what I care the most about. That's what I've always cared the most about. That's why I will always care the most about, because I know how important and how valuable those things are. And I know how lucky I am to have the people in my life that I'm close to in my life and close to me. So an example of this, you know, a woman quits a high-powered finance job in New York, moves to a mountain town to guide hikes. Maybe she makes less money, but she feels very successful and very happy and very fulfilled. I would argue that the existence in the mountains leading hikes is a much better existence for that person than the rat race in New York City and competing in the dog-eat-dog world that exists there. And if you love and thrive on the New York thing, good for you. Get after it. I hope you're wildly, wildly successful. I'm not judging anybody. I'm not judging their choices. I'm not telling you what or what not to do. What I'm telling you is you have to decide for yourself, and you know what's important to you. You know when you feel the best. So here's a tip on that one. Write yourself a personal statement. Success for me looks like blank. And then you get to fill in that blank or blanks with whatever gives you energy, with whatever you are passionate about, with whatever fulfills you. Maybe it's freedom. Maybe it's time with your family. Maybe it's the impact you have on the world. Maybe it's the ability to be creative. Those are all measures of success, and you get to decide which measures of success are the ones that you want to put at the top of your list. For me, I love personal freedom. I am a libertarian at heart. I want to be able to do what I want, when I want, with who I want. That's my goal. The more freedom I have, the happier I am. And that's all money is to me. Money is just freedom to me. I don't give a shit about money or what you can buy with it. What I do like that you can buy with it is your freedom. I like being able to say, fuck you, I'm not doing that because I don't want to, because I don't like it, because I don't agree with it, whatever the case may be. So that to me is success. That's what success is to me. You get to decide what success is for you, but it's important that you define it for yourself. So think about doing one of those success statements and filling in those blanks with the things you value the most, because that's terribly, terribly important. Step number 4, and we see this a lot. Stop comparing yourself to other people. All comparison does is leads to insecurity, procrastination, and self-doubt. Social media is a terrible thing that has driven more and more comparison between me and that person, me and this person, whatever the case may be. People put their highlights on social media. Rarely do you see someone go on and talk about all the shit that went wrong in their life. I try to be very open and transparent about things that have gone well for me, things that have not gone well for me, because I'm not trying to impress anybody. What I'm trying to do with our podcast and with our group is I want to impart the wisdom that I have picked up in a very well-traveled, a very deep experience, 53 years on this earth, and hopefully help other people feel as happy and fulfilled as I do, because I focus on personal relationships. I don't let my emotions get the best of me. I stay out of gossip and drama. I try just to live my life in a way that makes sense to me and let the chips fall where they may. So all the rest of that doesn't matter to me. We'd love to reach a ton of people because we think our message is true. We think our message is valuable, and we think a lot of people could benefit from hearing what we have to say, because we see a lot of people chasing these things, and it's not the path to happiness. Comparing yourself to others and trying to keep up with the Joneses is not the way to go. So there's an entrepreneur that unfollows influencers who make her feel inadequate, and she starts just focusing on her own growth and doubles her revenue in a year. That's a great example of what happens when you quit worrying about comparison to other people and just focus on your personal situation. Plus, you have no idea what somebody's backstory is. There could be someone that looks very, very successful on Instagram, but they come from generational wealth, and they personally didn't do a goddamn thing to earn any of the stuff that they have in their life. Maybe they're self-made and they earned every penny of it. Either way, it doesn't matter. You don't know what led to that. Their circumstances are very, very different than your circumstances. So to compare yourself to anyone is fool's gold. The only thing you should compare yourself to is who you were yesterday. Try to be a little bit better today than you were yesterday. If you can do that over and over and over again, that will work like compound interest does on money, and you'll be shocked at how far you can push your life forward by just getting a little bit better every day. Those incremental growth steps lead to big, big gains over time. So here's one thing you can do. Do a comparison detox. Unfollow or mute 5 accounts today that trigger in your mind comparison, and follow 5 that lead you to positive thoughts or inspire you or motivate you to get out and be a better person. Hopefully we're one of them, because we're in full support of whatever you want to do. You shouldn't compare yourself to anybody. We want you to be the best you that you can be, because that's how you're going to live your happiest, most fulfilled, and most productive life. Okay. Number 5, take small, bold actions every week. This is like we were just talking about with the incremental growth, adding up and compounding over time to big, big results. But living your life means taking ownership. It doesn't mean huge, gigantic steps. What it means is being consistent and being true to yourself. As an example, a guy starts sharing his original songs on YouTube after years of fear of rejection. Now he's built a community of fans and found a side income stream because he got past that fear of rejection. He got past that fear of failure, took the bold action to put his product out in the world and let people see it and experience it And turns out a lot of people like it. Like, that's a great way to go. So every Sunday night, try this. Every Sunday night, write down one bold step you're going to take that week. Email someone that you've been thinking about talking to, post your art, say no to a task, sign up for a class, whatever moves you forward. Like for our podcast, we reach out to people all the time about coming on as guests on our podcast. I would say our response rate is below 5%. Whatever. Like, we think it'd be great to come on and have people come on and interview them, talk about their successes, talk about their mindset, talk about their failures, how they dealt with those failures, what's made them into the successful person they are today. If people don't want to do that, that's fine. Their prerogative. Doesn't bother me at all if people don't respond or say no. We'd love to have them on, but I don't take it personal when I don't hear back from them. So be bold. So you're going to fail. You're going to get rejected. You're going to hear no. You should embrace that. It's part of life. No big deal. You just got to learn to absorb it, learn from it, apply it in future endeavors, and move forward. Okay, so remember, let's just recap real quick what our 5 steps are here to live our truly best, authentic life that's important to us. Number 1, get clear on what you want. Number 2, learn to set boundaries without guilt. Number 3, you define your own success. Number 4, stop comparing yourself to other people. And number 5, take small, bold actions every week. Try to be a little bit better than you were yesterday. And only compare yourself to who you were yesterday. That's the only comparison you need to make. So remember, you don't need permission to live your life. You just got to have the courage and the guts to start living the life that you want. You have a lot of things you have control over that you're not exercising that control of. Start now. Start showing control. Start taking control of the things you do have control of. Make small incremental steps on a consistent basis. You'll be shocked at how quickly you move towards the goals that you set for yourself. It works every time. All right, guys. So James puts it up over here every day. SaltyGingerTalk.com. That's our website. All the podcast episodes are there. All the social media links are there. We've got a newsletter we publish every weekday. You can subscribe to there. And please, please, please like, comment, subscribe, share our podcast on whatever platform you consume it on. Super helpful for us to be able to get the message out to more people. The more people that can live happy, productive, fulfilled lives, the better place the world is. It's a good deal for all of us. Pretty straightforward. So anything you can do to help us out there, we really appreciate it. This episode airs on a Friday. We hope everybody has a great weekend, and we will see you on next week's episodes. Thanks.